It's recording now. I think the first question you want to talk about is that hijab one, yeah?
No, I got some people called me about the last question before, last week, about women praying without hijab.
Alright, yeah, just...
I don't know if they didn't understand what I said or...
Okay,
So.
About the women.
Okay, Bismillah. Yeah, it's regarding the woman praying without hijab at home, not at outside. Because there is really no dalil that a woman has to wear hijab when praying at home. She just have to cover herself. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, Ya bani Adam khudhu zinatakum 'inda kulli masjid. O children of Adam, take your beauty next to every mosque. So that is dalil that for men and women that they have to cover themselves when praying. They should not pray without clothes at all. That is the taking their beauty. Taking beauty means covering, someone covering himself. The hijab, what we call hijab, which is the Khimar and Jilbab, is actually to cover the beauty. A woman is required to take her beauty when she prays. And the hijab, the khimar, is to cover their beauty. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ. So first, He said that people should take their beauty, zina, in their prayer. That is in Surah Al-A'raf. In Surah Al-Nur says, وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ. They should not show their zina, إِلَّا لِبُعُولَتِهِنَّ, to their husbands, masters, the father of their fathers, the fathers of their husbands or masters, and all the people that are mentioned in this ayah. So that is what that is, the zina should be covered in front of these foreigner people. So there is no proof that a woman should wear hijab. The ayah doesn't, it says that she has to cover their zina. Is it clear?
Yeah.
From now people rely on hadith which is weak. Hadith of Muhammad ibn Salama from Qatada, from ibn Sirin, from Safiya bint al-Harith, that Aisha said, that the Prophet said, لا يقبل الله صلاة حائض إلا بخمار, that Allah will not accept prayer of a woman who has reached the age of having menses until she puts khimar. That is the main hadith that people rely on when they say that a woman should pray on hijab. Of course, they differ what kind of hijab. For example, Malik will say it's fine for her to show her feet. Shafi'i says same thing. That for if she is slave, according to some, she just have to wear like a man. For Malik, she doesn't have to show her. She is fine to not cover her hair. But to say the hadith says that Allah will not accept the prayer of a woman except with khimar, of a woman of age. That hadith is weak because it's the narration of Muhammad ibn Salama. Muhammad ibn Salama is not strong. From Qatada, from Ibn Sirin, from Safiya bint al-Harith. So Safiya bint al-Harith is unknown. So there is, and on the top of this isnad here, Sa'id ibn Abi Aruba, who is more stronger than Muhammad ibn Salama, narrated this hadith from Qatada, from Al-Hasan al-Basri, from the Prophet, which is broken isnad. So this hadith here is mursal. So it's the narration of Muhammad ibn Salama should be considered shadh. And that's what Daraqutni and Al-Hakim have said, that this hadith Muhammad ibn Salama is shadh. Now some people thought that this hadith, there is Muhammad ibn Salama has been, there is a backup, like someone else narrated this hadith, Muhammad ibn Zayd, who is trustworthy anonymously, from Qatada, from Anas, from Ibn Sirin, from Safiya, from Aisha. But this is a mistake, because this hadith is narrated by Ibn Hazm only. And those who try to say this hadith is stronger because there is now two people narrating it, did not realize that either Ibn Hazm or his teachers made a mistake. And because Hamad ibn Zayd actually, Hamad ibn Zayd is not known to be narrating from Qatada at all. In contrast of this, there is in Tarikh al-Qati'i where Hamad ibn Zayd with Isnad Sahih said, I was preparing for Qatada to come, so I will narrate from him, so I will hear from him hadith, but he died in Wasit before I can see him, so he never saw him. And he has no narration from Qatada. He is not known to be narrating from Qatada. So this it was clearly his mistake. So this hadith is weak. And this hadith actually, it looks, we can see where it comes from. Qatada narrated hadith from Hasan al-Basri, from the Prophet, that the Prophet said, لا يقبل الله صلاة حائط إلا بخمار, which is weak. And then also, not Qatada, Ibn Sirin narrated from Safiya bint al-Harith from Aisha another hadith which is similar to this, that she was with the Prophet and she was with a woman at home and she had a girl. The Prophet came in and he saw the girl, so he took his rida and throw it to Aisha. He said, divide it between like half, give half to this girl and half to the daughter of Salama, because I see that she became older. Now these two hadith are quite dealing about woman, khimar. So Hamad ibn Salama, who is weak normally, he confused this hadith with this hadith, put them together, gave them the same isnad, so put Qatada with Ibn Sirin. So it's clear. So this is the main hadith. There is another hadith from Mohammed bin Zayd, from his mother, from Salama, that the Prophet said, that the Prophet was asked about a woman praying in hijab, in Jilbab, in a dar', something like Jilbab. He said, if she can pray in it. He said yes, if it's big and covers the feet. Now this hadith also is a mistake for all the reasons. The hadith is the narration of the mother of Muhammad bin Zayd, who is unknown. The mother is unknown, so the hadith is weak. Also this hadith is shadh because it is the narration of Abdurrahman bin Abdullah bin Dinar. Abdurrahman bin Abdullah bin Dinar is weak, and he is actually contradicted by Malik and Hamad bin Salama and Shu'ba and about another 12 people, all narrating it from Salama mawquf, like the saying of Salama. So since there is no hadith sahih from the Prophet that a woman should wear hijab during the salat when she is alone, not when she goes to the mosque. When she goes to the mosque, she has to wear something. She has to cover herself with, because she goes out in front of other people, so she has to cover herself. But if she is praying at home, she just have to wear normal. She doesn't have to put like khimar or the full jilbab. We have hadith also from Atiyya in Bukhari that the Prophet said that a woman, when she goes to in Eid, should go, a woman even in menses should go out for Salatul Eid with the Muslims. And then one woman asked, a woman who doesn't have jilbab, what should she do? Like, what does she have to do? Now this woman here asked about jilbab because the Prophet saying they should go to the Eid prayer. She should have asked about the same thing, like what is the difference between if you have to pray in the same way. She is asking about when she goes out and she doesn't have jilbab. So it looks like she was praying at home without a jilbab, without hijab. Because what she wears, people say, whatever she wears at home, she must wear, whatever she wears outside in the mosque, she has to wear it at home. But here, this woman asked only when she was told that she has to go out to the Salat al-Eid. So, which shows that she has no jilbab at home and she is praying without a jilbab. So there is a difference between going out and staying at home. Well, there is no, I think it's always on the person who say some obligation, he has to bring the proof. So since there is no proof at all, and this is, so a woman can pray anyway at home, just to cover herself normally and pray.
You've asked a question. Yeah, your wife has got questions now. You've got the questions this evening. I'll ask it.
Only the Sahih one is that for Salah
Yes.
her fatwa.
Yeah, it's her fatwa only.
That in Dir'a wa Khimar.
Yes.
Which comes also from Aisha, there is Tabaqat al-Kubra, Dir'a wa Khimar wa Jilbab.
Yeah.
There's two different fatwas.
Yeah. But it's not, they never refer this to the Prophet. Yeah.
That's the ijtihad.
There is, yeah.
So if someone wants to take it as a qudwa, fine, but there's no compelling.
Well, it's up to them what they want to wear, really. It's Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
Etiquette, manners.
What is it?
No obligation.
Yeah, you've done the one with the makeup.
And even those who say that what I have seen it, that I've moved it, it's permissible. She can't have that.
Well, definitely, if a woman has to want to cover herself all the way to in prayer, and there is nothing else as well that if a woman is wearing niqab, for example, so that she has to take it off. The people who say ihram is in her face, so there is no proof in that, because they just do qiyas on the hajj that a woman should not wear niqab, with the hadith is mawquf anyway from Ibn Umar. So
Stop recording. Come on, ask a question. You should have them.
well, if there is no questions, then
No,
Come
they're
on.
always waiting for me to answer.
Yeah, come on.
Is it okay to study law?
Hang on, wait. Alright, you ask it, is it work, and then you repeat it then.
Okay.
I don't think she wants to say it.
okay.
Okay, so ask your question, and then you'll repeat it.
Is it okay to study law in university?
Okay.
Study law.
Yeah. So you say somebody's asked.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
One sister asked.
Okay, for the question, if it's okay to study law in the university, there is nothing wrong to study law in university as long as you don't apply the law in university that you study in university. I mean, you don't apply it. If you want, we study always. Many people of these people have studied Aqidah, dedicated their times to study what the mushrikeen, how they used to do kufr, not to apply the kufr themselves, not to become kafir, just to understand what kufr is, what it isn't, you understand? Just to decide who is a kafir, who is not kafir, to study law in university, law of this country, to expose it, to show the difference, how to use it against the people who attack Islam, to say, look how stupid is your law or something. There is nothing wrong with that. But to study law to study the law and apply some of these laws that don't contradict Islam, to defend probably Muslims. That is, so it's not to apply the law or anything, but sometimes there are some Muslims who fall into problems, they are taken into prison, and if someone study it for that reason, to apply it within the Islam rules, a person will not go beyond to become himself a kafir. So to defend Muslims, that is also, there is no clear evidence that it is haram. But to study the law and go and apply it, become one of this establishment, someone becomes a judge and rule without other than the rules of Allah. Someone becomes a barrister and defends criminals, or becomes prosecutor and defends or try to put innocent people into prison, punish innocent people, punish someone who, for example, in this country, for example, someone is married to two women, and someone is a barrister. He will ask the judge to apply the rules to put this person in the prison. That is, this person, either if he understands that what he is doing is haram, then he is a fasiq and he is doing haram. But if he doesn't believe that what he is doing is wrong, then he is a kafir. If he doesn't believe that what he is doing, he knows that the book of Allah contradicts his rule, but he still, then this person will be kafir in this case. So, but studying the law just like that, for either expose the law or to help Muslims in a way, to know how to deal with the kuffar as well. If you study the international law, for example, let's say Muslims have their own, they have if they establish their state, some people must need to understand how this kuffar did, how their rules. So if there is treaties or something, so to know how to deal with them, that will be fine.
So, as a general rule, studying anything is permissible,
Yeah.
maybe with the exception of studying witchcraft. But
Yes.
it depends upon how the
Yeah.
eye is understood.
Yeah. Well, studying.
By applying sihr, not by studying it or knowing it.
Well, it looks like someone who study. It looks like whoever studies witchcraft, the witchcraft, not the playing. That it looks like he will not be able to achieve that, like until he becomes a kafir. That's how it looks apparently. But yeah, studying anything, it depends on. Unless there is dalil that say don't study this, that will make it haram.
But how about mortgage advisors and so on? In other words, you get people
Yeah.
where you need to take a mortgage out and then actually go and study. This will be a mortgage advisor, and this is how you take it, and the interest rate is like this. And
To study mathematics, then all you need to study, if you are a mortgage advisor, you need to study mathematics. You don't study how to. And then when you go to when you start the job, they will tell you how. But being a mortgage advisor as a job, it's haram, because you are calling people, you are making you are facilitating to people to do riba. That is haram. When you become a mortgage advisor, probably today in this country where you have to study, everybody is like has speciality. But normally, if you want to become a mortgage advisor, all you have to study is commerce, general commerce, and mathematics. So, and not even really mathematics today, the computer does everything. So, if you study finances, they will tell you as well, they will teach you something about, of course, ijri, riba and stuff. Studying it, how it is done, that is not just to understand. Before you can decide something is haram, you have to study it. So, if someone goes and study, there is no problem for that, to study it, and so he can make his decision. Is this what they are doing is haram or not? Because haram is not just like that, because people are used to be, everybody says mortgage is haram, so it is haram. No, you have to study every case. Like if you are going to work with some banks, actually, they can give you a interest-free mortgage. So there is nothing wrong with this studying to understand what is haram, what is not.
I've got a question.
Yes.
It's about some cartoons that have been made called Quranics. stories.
Okay.
And in the Quranic stories, there is the story of Cain and Abel. And in the cartoon, they depict the characters of Adam's children. I think Cain killed Abel, didn't he?
Habil and Qabil, according to.
Right. But what they've done in the cartoon, and I want to know where they get the evidence to do so, is that they've made the murdering son dark skinned.
Okay.
And all of the rest of Adam's children are very light skinned.
Okay.
Cain is light skinned. I want to know where did they get this from, and how does anybody know what these children look like?
No, that is just stories actually. That is stories. And there is no proof from the Quran or Hadith, just stories that one son was black and one girl was black and one. So that is, it has no basis. Making cartoons, creating cartoons, is a very big sin. If you show making it, I'm not saying about to make it, is someone who is trying to create like the creation of Allah. It's not like someone filming something. If you film, when you take a picture of someone with a camera, that is the creation of Allah, that you are just, it's like someone standing next to a mirror. And standing next to a mirror, you are causing the show of another, the reflection of yourself. So you don't have to do that. But if you want to do it, it's fine. I mean, it's not a necessity for someone to stand up next to the mirror. But if someone stands next to the mirror, it's not haram. You can see now another thing that is the reflection of the creation of Allah. But that is not haram. And I don't think anyone says it's haram for someone to stand up next to the mirror. Now someone who is very intelligent has come with an idea that when the person moves, that reflection will stay there. There's nothing wrong with that. What is haram is someone to try to imitate the creation of Allah. Imitating someone, when someone is drawing by his hand or making an idol, making a, what we call statue, that is imitating the creation of Allah, and that is haram. That is one of the biggest sins. The hadith says, وَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ مِمَّنْ ذَهَبَ يَخْلُقُ خَلْقًا كَخَلْقِي, who is more transgressing than the one who is trying to create creation like my creation. And that goes for everything. Animals, trees are creation of Allah. Mountains are creation of Allah. Sun is creation of Allah. Moon is creation of Allah. So that is haram if it's done by the hand or by clay or anything. But if it's just video camera, if someone buys, but the punishment for the person who created it, the sin for the person who creates these things is not like for the one who is watching it. It's not similar. The person who has the pictures must get rid of them, because of hadith of Ali ibn Abi Talib that the Prophet sent him and he ordered him not to keep a picture except this, not to come across a picture, a shape, not picture really, a shape, and or a cross, except by destroying it. But still, if a person doesn't destroy it as much as possible, without getting rid of his property, sometimes you have it in your property. So destroying the picture is an obligation, and getting rid of the property, throwing out the property, is haram. So you have to yes, you have to look at this here. It is, but it's still haram for someone to create the cartoons and stuff. But for the person who has made this picture about the son of Adam to be black, the killer is black and the good one is white, they have no proof. We know that Adam name is for someone, Adam in Arabic language is someone who is not white, neither black, dark skin. There is hadith in Bukhari and Muslim that the Prophet said he saw he saw Musa, and he was dark skinned. He said Adama tawalan. He was dark skinned and tall. And Adam, people say he was dark skinned because from his name.
Was that really his name then?
Adam.
Was that really Adam? Was Adam really
Name called Adam? Well, the Quran says Adam, ya Bani Adam. Definitely he was. His name was Adam.
Yeah, because it looks like Adam is an Arabic word.
No, in Quran say Adam, ya Adam. And the Prophet, when he spoke about Adam in Arabic, means someone who is dark skinned, not white, not black.
Could be from another language which we don't know.
No, the Adam is a word which is 4 alphabets. Adam. So it is not. It is. Yeah. It can't be munsarif. It can't be munsarif. So normally in Arabic language, if a name doesn't take kasra, which is mamnu' min as-sarf, we call it mamnu' min as-sarf, then that means it is a foreign name. Because Adam, there is no other reason that makes it not munsarif. It's not because except that it is ajami. So
what does mansarif mean?
The one who should accept like Muhammad, Muhammad. But I'll say, وَذْكُلْنَا لِآدَمَ not لِآدَمِي.
No tanween for the name. The names that have no tanween doesn't accept double. We can't say Ismailun or Ibrahimi. We said Maryami or so. That is not only for the foreign names.
Would be Fatima.
So you can decide from the Quran, for example, that Shu'aib is an Arab name because Allah says Shu'aiban. But you will not find Ismailun or Ibrahimun.
So these are foreign names. They may have, maybe they are not very old like Ibrahim and so they may have similar meaning like in Arabic, because these are cousin languages, but for Adam is far away from what is the origin was. But anyways, with the colors and so on, it's supposed to be speculative, or it's imaginary. Some racist or anti-racist. And they don't think even...
Brother, I've got a question. Can I just go back to about Adam alayhi salam?
Yeah.
Did Allah say in the Quran that He created Adam from black smooth mud and all the creation from different parts of the earth? Yellow mud, white mud.
You mean
Adam was sound.
You mean different ayahs speak about tain, salsal.
That's it.
Yeah. That is different ayat.
Okay.
Yeah, and really this is different. You will find different explanations from the Mufassirin, which is not really very important, but because they say this is a different phases, like it is clay and then it is salsal and so that all you find, but most of the talk that you will find regarding the creation of Adam, where it comes from, and the being from different land, are hadith weak, and opinions of others, what we call mufassirin. So there is no much really you can say except what the Quran says, and to try also to explain it, you can't explain it except the way it is in the Quran. Any one trying to say it was like this and it became like this, or it was the color of this. It's just opinions, which is it's just suspicions and doubts, which a person should not really do. If it was very important, Allah would have explained it clearly in the Quran, but it is not important really.
So one more question.
Yes.
Is music haram, brother?
Oh, that is the longest subject.
Sorry, I know
Music is not. There is no hadith. There is no hadith whatsoever. Sahih. There is no hadith sahih at all that music is haram. The hadith that you see Muslims being very good people, sometimes they try to help Allah. There is many matters where you see where there is no dalil. The Muslims always, the ignorant Muslims, the ignorant but pious Muslims, try to bring people to the religion, so they make obligation what Allah has not made obligation. They try to say it is haram what Allah did not make haram, just as help for Allah. They believe that Allah has forgotten something, or He did not explain it properly, so they help Him. And so music, definitely nobody will say that music is the best thing to do. Not only music, playing football, going to not really cinema in this country, but in this country probably is really not good to. It's really depends on the film. If it's a documentary, for example, about 9/11, so it's fine to go and watch it. But if something else, really a Muslim should not go to the cinema. But when we talk about haram, halal, depends on. There are something that are haram, such as drinking alcohol. There are some things that might become haram. If someone, for example, go to the cinema to watch a bad movie, that's definitely it's haram to. Allah says, "قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ." Tell the believer man to lower their gaze. Tell the believer woman to lower their gaze. Lower their gaze is not to look to the haram. The hadith says the eye commits adultery or fornication, and that is by looking. But music and the ears as well commit adultery or fornication by listening. Listening to what? Listening to something which is haram. What is haram? Music, there is no dalil that it is haram. The hadith that mostly people rely on, the hadith which is in Bukhari, which is not marfu', which is not mawsul from Bukhari, and Bukhari intentionally did not mention this hadith as muttasil. He said, قال هشام بن عمار. Hisham bin Ammar said, when it is his habit to say حدثنا on his hadith, but here he said قال. Hisham bin Ammar said, and there is Ibn Hajar said something regarding Bukhari saying qala. He said Bukhari will not say qala except for three reasons. Either the hadith does exist somewhere else, and he is not the hadith does exist somewhere else in his book and he doesn't want to repeat it again, or because the hadith is not the saying of the Prophet, is the saying of Sahabi. This can't be applied to this hadith because the hadith is only mentioned one time. It is not narrated from the Sahabi he's saying, it's narrated to be the saying of the Prophet. The third reason is the hadith doesn't meet the condition of Bukhari. So his way to say this hadith is not my condition, is to say at the beginning of the hadith qala rather than haddathana, rather than he told me, he will say qala, he said. And this is what he did with this hadith. This hadith is very important in the issue of music. Bukhari, when he spoke about music in the book of marriage, he mentioned hadith that allow music. Then he mentioned this hadith only in the book of drinks. he should have put it in the hadith, in the book of adab or in the book of marriage, because it's related to that. But he doesn't see that this hadith is strong enough. He just put the hadith like this, he will put it just as a title. He brings a lot of hadith that are weak this way. And not every hadith in Bukhari is sahih according to Bukhari. There are many hadith in Bukhari that are weak according to Bukhari. Bukhari will mention them sometimes and he will say, and this hadith is da'if. So, unlike what some people think, the hadith when it is muttasil in Bukhari, then it is sahih according to Bukhari. But when it is broken like this hadith, then it is not sahih according to Bukhari. And this hadith has someone called Atiyya ibn Qais in the middle. He is not really known to people except for Abu Hatim, who said he is salih, which means that he is not strong enough, that his hadith should not be taken. Ibn Hibban mentioned him in the book of Thiqat. Ibn Hibban will mention in the book of Thiqat anyone who is not totally weak. He is strong if he has a backup. There is no backup in this hadith. Actually, people has contradicted him in this hadith. And the whole hadith doesn't show that music is haram or the ma'azif is haram at all. This hadith contradicts clearly what is narrated by Bukhari and Muslim, which is sahih, that the Prophet heard music with Aisha, and that the Prophet was listening to music with Rubayya bint Muawwid in her wedding, to the point where he was listening. You can't say that he was just sitting there, because the girls were saying something, and then when they said something wrong, one girl said, وَفِينَا رَسُولُ اللَّهِ يَعْلَمُ مَا فِي غَدِي, and amongst us there is a prophet who knows what will happen tomorrow. When she said this is the wrong part, this is the haram, he said, leave that. But he ordered her also, and go back to what you are saying. This is his order for her to go back to what she was saying. So his order to her to sing. The issue of music, it became haram, and people say it is ijma'. That is a lie. Ijma', anybody can say it's ijma'. Of course, ijma' is a lie. Someone who says the ummah agrees is clearly a lie. There is no ijma' in the religion. There is Quran and Sunnah. When someone says the whole ummah agree about this, how can, if someone says Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman and Ali and Ibn Mas'ud and have said something, we say, okay, where there is the chain of narrators? When he says the whole ummah agree, we say it's fine. There is no need for chain of narrators. That doesn't make sense. So, even those who said ijma', they say Umar ibn Abdul Aziz said ijma'. Narrated from who? From Al-Awza'i, from Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. Al-Awza'i was 13 years old when Al-Awza'i died, when Umar ibn Abdul Aziz died. Very unlikely that he could have gone and met him in his office. He was the Khalifa. Tabari says ijma'. It was very easy for Tabari to say ijma' about everything. He said that it ijma' the ummah to get rid of the 7 narrations of Quran. He just believed that the 6 narrations of Quran are gone, and we have only one. And he said the ummah have decided to get rid of them, and since they have decided that, it's fine. Who can accept something like this? I mean, this kind of understanding that the Prophet plead with Allah to give him 7 narrations, and then he says that Uthman has got rid of them, and the Ummah accepted it, so it's fine. And Allah says in the Quran, وَاللَّهُ يَحْكُمُ لَا مُعَقِّبَ لِحُكْمِهِ. Allah makes His decisions, there is no alterations for His decisions. So this type of ijma' are meaningless and should not be accepted. And the fact that people say that the 4 madahib don't agree or declare music is haram, that is also a lie. Actually, if you look at the 4 madahib, the music is not haram. All they say, okay, Abu Hanifa, people say that he says the music is haram. Where is the statement that Abu Hanifa said that? He was asked, Abu Hanifa was asked about music, about someone going to a wedding and there is playing with the music. What should he do? He said, I have been struck with such calamity. Does it mean that this is the statement that shows out to these people that Abu Hanifa says music is haram? Shafi'i, in his book he says whoever play music or he go to places where there is music, if he does it regularly and he is addicted to it, in kana lidhalika mudminan, so he does it all the time, wa bihi musta'linan, and he does it openly, then his testimony should be rejected. But if he does it from time to time, then it is fine. And if he does it openly, would Shafi'i say if someone drinks alcohol, 1 cup of alcohol is fine, but if he drinks a lot, then he is a fasiq and his testimony will not be accepted? So he consider, because people who say music is haram, they say it's haram just like alcohol is haram. But Shafi'i, clearly from his statement, that he doesn't consider music to be like, he considers it if someone does it a lot. And we had these statements from Shafi'i and Malik and Ahmed bin Hanbal, for example. They will say about something which is not haram, if someone does it, his testimony should not be accepted. Ahmed bin Hanbal and Shafi'i say someone who doesn't pray witr, his testimony is not accepted. Doesn't mean that they consider someone who doesn't pray witr is doing something haram. They say it's a voluntary prayer. They say that. Also, Malik is known that he say, I don't like that a person who has a position in his people, so a person of knowledge, that he does this kind, listening of music, this kind of things. So that doesn't show. He will not say, I don't like a person who has a position not to drink alcohol, but for other people is fine. So he doesn't consider music to be haram. Ahmed bin Hanbal say if someone breaks someone's else instrument of music, then he should not pay any damages. But also Ahmed bin Hanbal say if someone kills someone else's dog, he should not pay any damages. Doesn't mean that having a dog is haram. So all of these statements, but the followers later, they make these stories. And what happens between the madhahib, there is this everyone trying to show that his madhab is the best. When someone says something, the other madhab will follow straight away. Shafi'i says that you have to say in the tashahhud, Tahiyyatu lillah salawat. The madhab don't say that. Abu Hanifa doesn't say, Malik doesn't say that. But then the other madhab will look bad. They don't love the Prophet too much. So they will have to make it also part of the prayer. So the Shafi'is will not be better than them. And this is how the religion get changed and mixed up. The truth is, now if we talk about the Dalil, Quran and Sunnah, it will take us a long time to go through one hadith after one hadith, because people have taken their time to create a lot of hadith, which most of these hadith are invalid. It will take us probably hours, or 1 hour, 2 hours, just to talk about the hadith and to answer them. I'm just explaining here that the people who say music is haram, and they say the ulama have said, they have no dalil at all. And you find that, for example, Nawawi and Ibn Hajar, people will go to the book of Bukhari, explain Sharh Bukhari or Sharh of Muslim at the beginning. Now, Muslim at the beginning of his Sharh of Muslim, he will attack Ibn Hazm for being the only person who made music haram, halal, and singing halal. That is because these people actually, they were writing books and learning in the same time. While they are writing, they are learning. So he heard that Ibn Hazm is the only person who makes music haram, and he wrote it at the beginning of his book. Then when he comes to the book of Eidain, the book of Eid, then he is dealing with the issue, this issue. What he does, he will bring books and he will start reading, and then he lowers his tone. He is not anymore shouting Ibn Hazm is the only mubtadi' who. No, actually he will say, and music is haram according to Abu Hanifa. That's because he read in the books of Ahnaf. But because he understands his madhab, he will say, and it is makruh in the madhab of Shafi'i, and it is fine in the book of Malik. But the people will just read the beginning of Muslim. Nawawi said that only Ibn Hazm. Also, if you go to the book of Bukhari, Ibn Hajar, he will say the same thing. When he is in the book of Idain, he's speaking about the hadith of music. He will say Ibn Hazm contradicted the ulama and he has made the music haram. But when he goes to actual hadith of Bukhari in the book of drinks and then start discussing this hadith about music, he also will actually start defending Ibn Hazm. And he will say, those people who say that this hadith which is in Bukhari has other narrations, it's stronger somewhere else, they have no proof, because the hadith that is in Abu Dawud, it has sound chain of narrators. But the problem, we are discussing music. And the hadith of Bukhari mentions the instrument of music, but the hadith of Abu Dawud doesn't mention the word that we are debating about. So he will also start talking in a different manner, because now he has put the books together. Now he is dealing with the issue of music properly, and he has learned that actually it's not only Ibn Hazm who says it's haram, and he has probably it's not only Ibn Hazm who says it's halal. So if someone wanted to study to check, investigate without music is halal or haram, first he must forget that people have used to consider it to be haram, because they did not used to consider it to be haram. They didn't have proof that it is haram. And all you can find these ignorant people who don't understand the religion, they don't understand the proper religion. Oh, this will lead you to, if you start listening to music, people play football and then they miss prayer. Are we going to say football is haram? It's haram when it makes you miss the prayer. People go to the parks and people watch TV. People actually read Quran and miss prayer. If someone is reading Quran and misses the obligation prayer, he's doing haram. Some people study fiqh and hadith and they get so involved and that they will not go to the mosque. They hear the adhan and they don't go to the mosque. But studying fiqh and hadith is not haram. But if you are studying at the time when the prayer is due to be done, then it will be haram. Also, same thing with the music. So we have to stop inshallah here.